Hey, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy tonight's stories. Here we venture into the dark web, peeling back layers of mystery and terror to reveal tales that were never meant to be told. Leave a like and subscribe for more dark web scary stories. Someone on the dark web sold me coordinates to a UFO crash site. Alright, so before I even get into this, I need to say, don't go looking for stuff like this. I'm not trying to sound like your mum or some after-school special. I'm being dead serious. Don't mess with the deep web. You think you're just going to peek behind the curtain, maybe watch a creepy video or read a spooky thread and dip out. That's what I thought. That's what everyone thinks, until it's too late. I wasn't always the type to be into conspiracy stuff. But during lockdown, like a lot of people, I got way too deep into internet rabbit holes. YouTube, forums, old archived threads. You name it. UFOs, government black sites, Antarctica bunkers, Hollow Earth. I binged it all like a Netflix series. Eventually none of that was enough. I wanted to see what was real. Not just read about it, witness something. That's how I ended up on the dark web. Tor browser, VPN, burner email. Yeah, I knew the drill. I wasn't trying to order anything illegal, just lurk around and see what was out there. Most of it's just scams or creepy nonsense anyway. But one night I found something different. It was this simple thread on a private forum. The post title was just Unexplained Aerial Event, Recovered Coordinates, Verified 2023. Nothing flashy, no GIFs, no red text, just a single paragraph with a string of numbers and a price, 0.005 Bitcoin. The user who posted it had one of those weirdo handles like _vantahex_. You click their profile and see a list of past threads. Lost NASA audio logs, live feed from Arctic bunker, off-grid locations with radiation spikes. Total tinfoil hat stuff, right? But the comments section, man, that's where things got weird. People were saying stuff like, I went, wish I hadn't. My drone melted when it got near. There's something buried under that valley, saw it move. And these weren't no copy-paste, fake bot comments. These were people telling stories, replying with specifics. Latitude and longitude confirmations, blurry photos of a scorched tree line, maps that had that particular patch of land blurred out on Google Earth. I should have clicked out, shut it all down, but instead I messaged the guy. I figured, what the hell? Worst case, I lose like $150 worth of Bitcoin. Best case, I get a spooky Reddit story out of it, so I paid. He responded in less than 10 minutes with this encrypted zip file and a note that said, be there before dusk. Bring something to dig. That was it. No explanation, no details, just the most ominous, straight out of a movie line you could possibly send. It was so cliché I almost laughed, but the coordinates were real. Somewhere in northern Arizona, middle of nowhere, miles off any official road. And here's where I should mention something that still creeps me out. I hadn't told this guy anything about me, but the file name, it had my actual first name in it, like ethancoordinates.key. I swear I never used my name on that site, not even in my email. My stomach dropped when I saw it. I even checked the properties on the file, thinking maybe I somehow renamed it on download. Nope. Created by vantahex, last modified 3 minutes ago. At this point I should have deleted it, but instead I packed my car. It was only a 6-hour drive. I lied to my roommate and said I was heading to Sedona for a weekend hike, loaded up my camera, flashlight, first aid kit, a small camping shovel, and just went. The first few hours were fine. I was vibing, blasting music, hyping myself up like I was about to uncover a forgotten alien bunker or something. But once I passed Flagstaff and started hitting the dirt roads, things got eerie real fast. No cell service, no signs. The trees started getting thinner, replaced by jagged rocks and dry hills. That part of Arizona has this weird silence, like the land itself is holding its breath. And when I finally reached the coordinates, it just looked like a dead field. No lights, no craters. Just a wide-arse open stretch of cracked soil and scraggly bushes. But my GPS was still locked in. The little blue dot was right on it. I got out, heart racing. Sun was starting to dip behind the ridge, casting long shadows over everything. I walked out about 50 yards, dirt crunched under every step. That's when I noticed the air smelled wrong. Not bad, not rotting or sulfur or anything, just unnatural. Like hot metal and rain, even though the sky was bone dry. I stood in the exact spot the coordinates led to and started to dig. At first, just dust. Then dry, hard-packed clay. Then something solid. I thought it was a rock, until my shovel scraped against it and made this high-pitched metallic ping. I knelt down, brushing dirt away with my hands, and uncovered something smooth and dark grey, like polished gunmetal. It curved slightly like part of a sphere. No seams, no markings. But when I touched it, I heard this hum, like from inside my head. Not in the air, not through the ground, but inside my skull, like a tuning fork had been stuck into my spine. I stumbled back, ears ringing, heart hammering. But when I looked again, it was gone. I swear to God, in the 5 seconds I looked away, the thing was gone. The hole was still there, but the metal shape had vanished, like it sank back down or was never there to begin with. I started backing toward my car. That's when I heard a crunch behind me. I spun around, flashlight shaking in my hand. There were fresh footprints, bare, human, walking in a straight line right toward where I was standing, and then continuing past me like someone had just walked straight through and didn't even notice me. I followed the prints for maybe 20 feet before they just stopped. No turn, no fade. They just ended in the middle of a patch of dry dirt. I booked it back to my car and drove until I found a spot with signal. I was shaking so bad I could barely unlock my phone. When I got back home, I tried to message _Vanta HEX _ again. Account deleted, thread gone, like it was never there. And here's the thing. Every time I try to upload the coordinates or even type them in a doc, my computer freezes, like it won't let me share it. But I'm not done. Something's out there. I know what I saw. And if this gets out, maybe someone else can help me figure out what the hell I dug up in that desert. I didn't sleep that night. I don't even think I blinked after I got back home. I just sat on the floor of my apartment, lights off, wrapped in a hoodie, staring at my laptop like it was going to explode or start playing one of those cursed videos people warn you about. You know the ones. Low-res footage of someone whispering in another language, or that grainy static with the face that slowly starts moving. I half expected that, but it was worse. When I opened the zip file again, just to double-check if I'd missed anything, there was something new in it. I swear it wasn't there before. A second file had been added. Just appeared there, like someone had remote access or some silent permission to my machine. The new file was named _return ... origin.mp4. My hands were shaking, but I clicked it. The video was dark, really dark. At first, it was just static and this weird warbling noise, like a cassette tape being chewed up in slow motion. Then shapes started to come into view. Not people, not animals, just movement. Slow, jerky movement, like something was crawling across the ground, dragging itself forward. The only light in the video came from a handheld flashlight, the kind with a flickering battery. It would sweep across dirt and brush, then catch something for half a second, just long enough to show that whatever was being filmed was wrong. I can't even explain it properly. All I know is, when the light passed over this shape, it didn't cast a normal shadow. The shadow twitched. It moved differently than the thing it came from. Then the audio cut in. It was a man's voice, whispering, breathing fast like he was hiding. He said, "It's under the skin now. I see them in the clouds. I see them when I blink." Then silence. The flashlight dropped. There was a thud. And right before the video ended, the camera caught a glimpse of a face. Only, it wasn't human. It had no eyes. Just two deep, smooth dents where they should have been. Its skin looked stretched and dried out, like it had been shrink-wrapped around its skull. But the worst part? Its mouth was wide open, and it wasn't screaming, it was mimicking a scream. No sound, just the shape of one. Like it had seen people do it before and thought that's what it was supposed to do. Then black. The file closed itself. My laptop restarted on its own, not like a crash, more like someone remotely told it to reboot. That was 2 days ago. Since then, weird stuff's been happening. My phone alarm's been going off at 3:33 a.m. every night, even though I never set it. My microwave turned itself on while I was brushing my teeth. Emails keep showing up in my spam folder with subject lines like, "You saw it too?" and "Keep digging, no sender." Just empty messages with single frame .p nung s attached. Blurry screenshots of what looks like the same shape I dug up. And now, my radio is acting up. I didn't even notice it at first. It's one of those old hand crank emergency radios I keep in the closet. Haven't used it in years. But the other night, I woke up to this weird droning sound and followed it to the living room. The damn thing had turned itself on. It was playing this looping broadcast, over and over, the same message in this low, robotic voice. Condition white, object recovered, sleep disruption logged, condition white, repeat, object recovered. Then a burst of static, then silence. I cranked the volume. Nothing. Like it never happened.
Here's what's even crazier. There's this one guy I talk to sometimes in this old radio scanner Discord. He's ex-military or something, real quiet, real paranoid. Goes by Low Wave. I DM'd him asking if he'd ever heard of a condition white broadcast or anything like it. He didn't reply for a few hours. Then all he sent was, "Don't message me again. If that's real, you're being watched." Then he deleted his account. Just vanished. So now I'm stuck with this thing I can't explain, and this gut feeling like I woke something up. I don't even know if it's physical. It might not even be from here. But the air in my apartment? It's heavy now. Like static before a storm. Sometimes the lights flicker. Sometimes I swear I can hear clicking sounds from inside the walls. And when I close my eyes, I see that same eyeless face just hovering in the dark, mouth open, like it's still trying to scream. I tried smashing the hard drive. Didn't matter. The video's still there. It shows up on any device I use. Even my TV glitched and showed a freeze frame of it for like 2 seconds when I was watching Netflix. I know how this sounds. I know it's insane, but it's real. And I think this thing, the whatever it was under the dirt, it didn't want to be found. Or maybe someone didn't want me to find it. Because last night, I saw something outside my window. Not a person, not an animal. It was a drone, small, black, completely silent, just hovering, watching. Then it zipped away straight upward, no arc, just vertical like it was pulled on a wire. So yeah, I think I've been tagged. They know I went there. And whatever I touched. I think it followed me back. I haven't left my apartment in 3 days. I've tried. I've stood at the door, keys in hand, heart pounding, but every time I reach for the knob, I freeze. It's like something on the other side is waiting, not a person, something worse. It feels like the walls are listening, and I know how insane that sounds, but I'm past caring. It started the night after the drone. I hadn't slept, was just lying on the couch wrapped in a blanket, trying to block out the static humming that had somehow become constant. It's not from any electronics. It's just there, in the air. It settles into your skull if you sit still long enough. At around 2 a.m., I heard someone knock on my window. I live on the 3rd floor. It wasn't loud, just this soft, deliberate tap, 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 like someone was testing the glass, or trying not to wake me up too fast. I stayed frozen on the couch, barely breathing. The curtains were drawn. I didn't want to look. Every instinct in my body said, "Don't look." But of course, I did. I pulled the curtain back just a little, just enough to peek out. There was a figure on my fire escape. It was facing the window, still as a statue, not blinking. And its head was tilted way too far to the left, like the bones inside didn't line up right. It looked human at first glance, grey hoodie, pale skin, hands at its side. But the longer I stared, the more wrong it became. Its mouth wasn't a mouth. It was this vertical slit that opened and closed slowly, like a gill, and its chest moved too fast, like it was breathing for the first time and hadn't figured out how to do it yet. When it noticed me looking, it smiled, not with its mouth, with its eyes. The skin around them pulled back, stretching, like someone trying to copy a human expression without really understanding what it means. Then it crouched. That same weird, twitchy motion from the video. It crawled on all fours up the railing, fast, and disappeared over the roof. I didn't sleep at all after that. Since then, I've been hearing footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment, real slow, spaced out like someone taking their time. My peephole's been blacked out twice, like something's standing right on the other side, covering it. But when I open the door, no one's there. And now, electronics aren't just acting weird. They're talking. I left my phone on the table earlier. I was in the kitchen pouring cereal when Siri suddenly went off. I didn't even touch it. She said, "Incoming transmission, source, classified, origin, non-terrestrial." Then the phone shut off and hasn't turned back on since. But here's the part that actually made me feel sick. I found a note under my door this morning. Just a scrap of notebook paper, no envelope, no signature, 4 words. "You weren't supposed to dig." That's it. The handwriting looked rushed, almost childlike, and the way the letters were formed, they weren't spaced right. Like someone who learned how to write by watching humans but never practiced. I checked my building's security cams, even bribed the guy at the desk to let me scrub through the last 24 hours. But when I fast-forwarded to 3:10 a.m., which was when I think the note was slipped in, the footage just skips.
Like the feed jumps straight to 3:13, nothing in between, and every other hour is fine. Just that window is corrupted, and now there's something under my floorboards. It started with the smell. You know how people say electrical fires have this sharp ozone smell? This was different. It was more like copper and burnt hair. And it was coming from a small crack in the floor near my bed. I peeled up a couple boards with a screwdriver and found a compartment. Not one I built. Not part of the apartment design. Just a hidden space, like it was waiting for someone to find it. Inside was a black pouch, real old school, velvet drawstring. I didn't even want to touch it, but I had to know. I dumped it out on my bed. There were 3 things. A small chunk of dark, smooth metal, almost the same material I saw buried in the desert. It was warm to the touch, a Polaroid photo of me, standing in the exact spot I'd dug. Only, I didn't take any photos and I was alone. Who the hell took this? A folded piece of film, like the kind used in old projectors, with burned edges. When I held it up to the light, it showed a grainy silhouette of a humanoid figure inside some kind of capsule. Its face was pressed against the glass. Eyeless. I don't know how to describe it. But when I looked at that image, I felt something deep in my chest. Like vertigo, but worse. Like my body remembered seeing this thing a long time ago in a dream, or a memory that didn't belong to me. I dropped the film. It landed image side down, and when I picked it up again, the image had changed. It was now the figure standing next to my bed. Same eyeless head, same elongated limbs. But the background was my room. Same sheets, same scuff marks on the wall, same layout. The film had updated, and now I think it's watching me. Not the thing, the film. I flipped it over again, and now the figure is closer to the camera. Almost like it's walking forward frame by frame. Every time I check, it's moved. I haven't told anyone. Who would believe me? But I know this isn't random. I wasn't unlucky. I was picked. That file, the one from Vantahex, it wasn't being sold to everyone. I think it was meant for me. Maybe not by the guy who uploaded it, but by something else. And now, there's a low-frequency buzz in my head, like a radio trying to tune into a station just out of reach. And late at night, when the lights are off, I swear to God I hear someone whispering my name. But here's the worst part. Last night, when I woke up at 3:33 again, I wasn't in my apartment, only for a few seconds. but I opened my eyes and saw something above me, metallic, curved, and a dozen shadowy shapes moving past the light. Then I blinked, and I was back in bed, drenched in sweat. I think I'm being pulled somewhere. Slowly. And the next time I wake up, I don't think I'll come back. The power's been out for hours now, not just my apartment, the whole building, possibly the whole block. I checked the hallway, the street, everything's blacked out. Phones don't work, Wi-Fi's dead. The emergency lights in the stairwell are flickering like they're on their last breath. I'm writing this from an old offline laptop I found in my closet running on battery. I don't know how long I have before everything just shuts off for good, but I need to get this down before it happens. Something followed me last night, not metaphorically. I mean, I left my apartment, finally forced myself out, and something came with me. I needed air. I needed people. So I grabbed my hoodie, shoved the film strip and the metal piece into my backpack, and walked to the gas station 2 blocks away. It was late, maybe 10:30, and the streets were way too empty for that time of night. There was this silence, this unnatural stillness, like the world was paused. Even the usual city sounds, cars, sirens, drunk arguments, gone. Just my footsteps, and the sound of gravel crunching behind me. At first, I thought I was being paranoid again. I kept turning around, not seeing anyone. But then I passed one of those old phone booths near the corner of 8th and Maple, the ones no one uses anymore, and I swear someone was inside it, just standing, facing the corner, head bowed. I only caught a glimpse through the foggy glass. When I looked again, it was empty. I bolted. The gas station was still open, thankfully. Bright lights, music playing, a bored guy behind the counter texting. It felt normal in there, like stepping out of a nightmare for a minute. I grabbed a Red Bull, paid in cash, and asked the guy if the power had been flickering. He didn't look up, just said, "You saw it, didn't you?" I froze. I asked what he meant. This time he looked up, and I'm not kidding. His nose was bleeding, just a slow drip down his upper lip, like he didn't even notice. His eyes were red, like he hadn't slept in days. He said, "They show it to people like you, people who touch things they shouldn't, and then they wait." I asked who they were, but he just shook his head slowly and muttered, "It's already in your blood. You'll see." I left the drink. Didn't even take my change. I sprinted back home, heart pounding like it was trying to tear through my ribs. And the second I stepped inside my building, everything shut off. No lights, no buzz, just complete, unnatural silence. I ran up the stairs to my apartment, locked the door, grabbed the laptop, started writing, and then the scratching started. Not from the door, from the ceiling. At first it was slow, like tiny claws dragging across wood, but now it's rhythmic, like something's pacing back and forth right above me. I live on the top floor. There's no unit above mine. I tried using a flashlight to see if I could get into the attic crawl space. When I aimed the beam up into the vent near the ceiling, I saw dust falling. And then something looked back. Not eyes, just a shift in the darkness. Like the space blinked, then a whisper. We never left. It wasn't in English, not fully. It was like hearing 2 languages at once, one that my brain could recognize and one that made my ears burn. And that metal piece I took from the desert, it's changing. It's not metal anymore. It feels more like skin, warm, pulsing slightly, like it's alive and waiting for something. There's a new groove on the surface, like a fingerprint, but it's not mine. It's deeper, like it belongs to something ancient. Oh, and the photo? The one that kept changing? Now it's a shot of my apartment door. But here's the thing. It was taken from inside, from the angle of someone standing in the corner of the room, facing me. I looked up. Nothing there. But the smell is back. That copper-burnt hair stink, stronger than ever, like it's leaking through the cracks. The film strip moved again too. I didn't touch it. It was sitting on my desk, flat. Now it's curled, bent like it's recoiling from something, or bracing. I think I'm about to leave again. I can feel it.
There's this heavy pulling sensation, like my chest is full of magnets and something massive just started moving over the sky above me. The air pressure dropped. My ears popped. I checked the time and 3:33 a.m. Of course, I'm going to lie down. Not because I want to. Because I have to. It's like a sleepwalk trigger. My vision's already going static around the edges, like I'm fading. Last time I blinked and woke up under something. This time, I think they're going to bring me deeper, not into space. Inside something, something beneath. If I make it back, I'll post again. If not, look up at the sky during a thunderstorm and listen. There's a sound underneath the thunder now, a low, droning hum. That's them breathing. I don't even know how to start this. If you're reading this, it means I made it back, somehow. Or maybe I didn't. Last night, at exactly 3:33 a.m., everything changed. I was lying in bed, trying to stay awake, heart pounding so hard, I thought it might burst through my chest. The room went suddenly cold, so cold my breath fogged in front of me. Then the lights flickered, and the ceiling seemed to ripple like water. I couldn't move. Like gravity itself was pulling me down into the mattress. Then, through the darkness, I saw it again. That shape, not human, not anything I've ever seen. The same eyeless face, mouth still a gaping silent scream, but this time it was inches from mine. I wanted to scream, but my voice was gone, my body was frozen, my mind fragmented. Then, like a switch flipping in the dark, I was somewhere else. I was inside a tunnel made of metal and flesh. The walls pulsed with a heartbeat I could feel in my ribs. Shadows crawled along the surface, alive but not alive. I could hear voices, but they weren't speaking words I could understand. They were thoughts, memories, emotions, flooding into me, overwhelming me. I saw flashes of that crash site, the metal piece buried in the sand, the empty shell of the ship, the eyes of something watching from the shadows. It wasn't a crash. It was a burial, a prison. Then I realized I was inside it, inside the craft, or whatever it was. The film strip was in my hand. It unfurled, wrapping around my wrist like a band. The photos changed again, showing me scenes from my own life, but twisted. Faces of people I knew were blurred and shifted, their eyes replaced with dark voids, their smiles stretched into unnatural grins, and the whisper came back, "You belong to us now." I tried to fight, tried to scream, but the only sound was the droning hum, the breath of something enormous, ancient and patient. Suddenly, the tunnel lit up. There were others down there, not quite human, not quite machine, like the thing I'd seen outside my window, but hundreds. They moved silently, tending to machines that looked like broken hearts and broken bones fused together. They looked up at me. Their mouths opened, but still no sound came out. Instead, I heard it inside my head. "Welcome back." We waited. And just as I felt myself losing what little I had left, my memories, my will, my name, I woke up. Back in my bed. The room was normal, the air warmer, the hum was gone. But the metal piece? It was gone, the film strip. Crumpled in the trash can, the Polaroid. On my nightstand, this time, it showed a single word scrawled in blood-red ink. Home. I don't know if I'm safe, I don't know if this will end, but I know one thing for sure. The coordinates weren't just a location, they were a calling, and whatever that thing is, whatever they are, they're not done with me. If you ever get a file like that, or a message in the dark, run. Don't look, don't listen, because some doors shouldn't be opened. And some things are better left buried beneath the sand. I'm done digging, for now. If this is the last you hear from me, just know, the sky isn't empty, it's watching and waiting.
I hacked into a government server and unlocked a file that shouldn't exist. Alright, so I don't even know how to start this without sounding completely insane, but I swear on everything. I'm not making this up. I'm not some bored Reddit troll or a kid trying to freak people out. What I'm about to tell you is 100% real. And honestly, I wish it wasn't. I've always been into tech stuff. Not like Silicon Valley startup founder into it, more like late night Reddit rabbit holes, playing around with code and breaking things just to see if I could fix them again. That kind of thing. I wasn't a pro hacker or anything, just a guy with too much free time and an overactive sense of curiosity. It started a few months ago. I got laid off from my job, and with nothing to do all day, I found myself spending more and more time online. Not gaming, not doom scrolling. I'm talking deep corners of the internet, the kind of places most people pretend don't exist. And I ended up on the dark web. Now, before you get, "Oh, bro, that's fake," let me just say, it's not like in the movies. There's no neon green code, no Matrix music in the background. It's quiet, hidden. Mostly boring if you know what you're doing, but the more time I spent there, the more weird stuff I started noticing. Forums that didn't have names, sites that didn't show up unless you typed in the exact, specific URL, chat rooms that would go silent the second you joined. One night, after about 5 hours of hopping from link to link, I stumbled across this plain-looking site. No name, no graphics, just a black screen with white text that said, "Welcome, user 43. Access level unknown. Click to verify." I probably should have clicked off, but come on, click to verify? That's like putting a giant red button in front of someone and telling them not to press it. So I clicked. The screen glitched for a second, literally glitched like a skip in a VHS tape. And then it brought up this menu, a bunch of folders, all labeled in codes like ZX-MNT2 and OP-71A. Super cryptic. It didn't look like a typical website file system. This was something else, something organized and hidden for a reason. I wasn't ready to poke around right away. I took a screenshot of the page, saved the link, and logged off. For the next 2 days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The way the screen glitched, the weird feeling I had in my stomach, like I'd stepped into a place I shouldn't have. But that just made me want to go back even more. So I did. This time, I had Tor running through a layered VPN, and I used a sandbox to avoid anything malicious. I clicked the same link, verified, and boom, I was in. Same folders, same setup. But now, one of the folders had changed. Instead of ZXMNT2, it said, "Do not open." Like, come on. What else was I supposed to do? I opened it. Inside was just one file. And .mp4, the name? Just 43.move. Same number as my user tag. I hovered over it, half expecting it to trigger something awful, but nothing happened. I clicked download. My computer didn't freak out. The file saved to my sandbox folder. No viruses, no alerts. So I opened it. It started like a security cam feed. Super grainy, black and white, timestamp in the corner. It looked like a room, plain, sterile, fluorescent lights. There was a metal table in the middle, and on the table was something that didn't look human, not like little green man alien, more like a body, shriveled, twisted. The proportions were wrong, its arms were too long, fingers too thin, and it wasn't moving, at first. Then someone entered the room. I couldn't see their face. They were in a lab coat, face obscured by one of those high-level containment suits. They had this little device, looked like a scanner or something, and they pointed it at the body. That's when the thing on the table twitched, like violently, and then the feed just cut to black. I stared at the screen for what felt like forever. I even checked the video file to make sure it wasn't some kind of ARG or viral thing, but it wasn't edited. No signs of tampering, just a raw, uncompressed video file. And the timestamp? It was dated 4 days in the future. I swear. I double-checked my system clock, metadata, everything. The file was created on a date that hadn't even happened yet. And I couldn't stop asking myself, why me? Why was I user 43? Why did that folder change after I logged in? And that's when I noticed the second file had downloaded. I never clicked anything else, but somehow there it was, sitting in the same folder. You've seen it? Now stay quiet. No extension, just a text file I couldn't open. I shut everything down after that, wiped my system, threw out the hard drive, burned it, literally burned it in a grill behind my apartment building like some paranoid lunatic. And I didn't touch anything dark web related after that, until last night. Because when I opened my laptop, brand new, completely clean, there it was again, the same video file, only this time it had a new name, lookbehindyu.move. I didn't sleep that night after seeing the renamed file, lookbehindyu.move. I just sat there staring at my laptop screen like it might start bleeding or something. I didn't click it. I didn't move. I just sat there, waiting for something to happen. Nothing did, at least not right away. Eventually, I pulled the power and just sat in silence. It was 3:43 a.m., not like that matters, but weird how those numbers stick with you when you're freaked out. I didn't open the laptop again until the next morning, and when I did, the file was gone. Completely. Not in the trash, not in temperature. No traces in the logs, like it had never existed. I chalked it up to sleep deprivation and paranoia. Told myself I'd imagined it. But deep down, I knew I hadn't. You don't forget something like that, especially not when it feels like it's watching you. That afternoon I went out just to get some air, walked around the block, got coffee, tried to act normal, but I kept noticing the same car, black SUV, no plates. I know how that sounds, classic conspiracy bait, but I swear on everything it was there, parked on the corner when I left. Saw it again near the coffee shop, again near my building when I came back. It didn't follow me, it just sat there. And I probably wouldn't have thought too much of it, if it weren't for what I found when I got home. On my desk, next to my laptop, was a sticky note. I live alone. I lock my door, and I don't own sticky notes. It just said, stop digging user 43, no handwriting, typed, black ink, perfect font alignment, like it came from a label printer. At that point, I was seriously considering packing a bag and getting out of town for a while, like go full burner phone and roadside motels mode. But then curiosity kicked in again. You know that voice in your head, the one that goes, just one more peek, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, that guy's an idiot. But he's persistent. I booted the laptop back up, this time offline. No Wi-Fi, no Ethernet. Just a sandboxed environment and a partitioned drive. I figured if anything weird happened again, at least it'd be contained. When the system finished booting, I ran a deep scan out of habit. That's when I found it. A hidden partition, not something I created, not something I could delete. It had no name, just a string of hex characters. And when I tried to access it, the screen flickered, just for a second. But enough to make my stomach drop. Inside were two folders, one labeled audio, the other, no label, just a red dot. I opened the unlabeled one first. Dozens of images, black and white, all grainy, surveillance style. They weren't screenshots, they were photos of me in my apartment, on my couch, sleeping in bed at my desk, some taken from inside the apartment, others from angles that don't even make sense, like from above, as if someone, or something, was looking through the ceiling. I wanted to throw up. The timestamps were recent, some just hours old, but here's the thing that really twisted my stomach. One of them was dated next week, and in that photo I wasn't alone. There was a figure behind me, tall, no features, just blackness. No face, no clothing, just a void in the shape of a person, standing inches from my head while I typed on my laptop, completely unaware. I shut the folder, tried to delete it, no luck. Then I opened the audio folder. Big mistake. The files were just short clips, each labeled with a timestamp and the word room. Room 1, room 2, all the way to room 9. I clicked on room 4. Static at first. Then a voice. My voice. Saying things I never remember saying. Whispering, muttering nonsense like, he sees me in the static, or don't answer the knock. Room 7 was the worst. It was a low, raspy breathing sound, not human, like someone trying to breathe through wet lungs. And underneath that was a whisper so quiet I almost missed it. I had to boost the volume just to catch the words, "You're already marked!" At that point I slammed the laptop shut. That night the dreams started, if you can even call them dreams, more like transmissions.
Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that room from the video. Same fluorescent lights, same metal table, and the same twisted thing, except now it was moving. Slow, jerky, unnatural, like its bones were bending the wrong way. It never spoke, but it stared. And every time I woke up, I swore I heard breathing in the room. I started sleeping with the lights on, not that it helped. By the third night, I stopped sleeping altogether. Then yesterday, around 2 a.m., I heard a knock. 3 slow taps on my apartment door. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Just stared at the door, heart pounding in my chest. Another knock. This time louder, and then nothing. I waited there until the sun came up. When I finally worked up the nerve to open the door, there was no one there. Just another sticky note taped to the doorframe. Final warning. That brings us to now. I haven't told anyone about this until now. I know how this sounds. I know most people would just say, format your drive or get a new laptop. But this isn't about the computer anymore. Something followed me back, and I think it's waiting for something. So here's the part where things started to get less digital. Like the weird dark web file stuff was terrifying, don't get me wrong. But this was the point where reality started bending in ways I still can't explain. After that second sticky note, final warning, I completely unplugged, threw the laptop in a closet, pulled the battery, no internet, no tech, just me and my anxiety trying to exist in silence. Didn't matter. It followed anyway. The first time I noticed it was during a storm. Just a regular Tuesday night, grey sky, wind, that annoying hum that hangs in the air before lightning hits. I was reading a book, trying to distract myself. Then my old radio turned on, by itself. Now I haven't used this radio in years. It's one of those ancient, dusty, analog ones my grandpa gave me. It doesn't even have Bluetooth. But that night, the thing just clicked on, full volume, just static, no station, just white noise, thick and hissing like something alive was crawling through the signal. I sat there, frozen. The knob turned on its own. I swear to you, I watched it move. The dial spun slightly to the right, and the static changed. It didn't stop, it just shifted. Less hiss, more crackle, and underneath it, something else. A voice. Barely audible. I got closer, real close. Pressed my ear to the speaker. It was whispering numbers. 43.43.43.43. Over and over. The same number as my user tag. The same one from the server. I unplugged it. Threw it across the room. It shattered. Didn't stop the static. I heard it again the next night. But not from the radio. This time, it came from my bathroom. It was 2:12 a.m. I remember the time exactly because I'd just checked my phone, hoping somehow it'd be morning. I got up to grab a glass of water past the bathroom door and froze. That same hissing, low, warbling, like a bad transmission coming from the other side of the door. But I don't have a speaker in there, no vent, nothing that should be making that noise. I opened the door slowly, pitch black, but the sound was louder now, so I did something stupid. I flipped on the light and looked in the mirror. And for a split second, no more than a blink, I saw something behind me. Not a reflection, not a shadow, something else. It looked like me. Same hoodie, same hair, same everything, except the eyes. They were just gone. Hollow sockets, and it was smiling. Then it was gone, like it never existed. I didn't sleep at all that night, or the next. By the third day, I started seeing movement in the corner of my vision. I'd walk down the hallway and swear something darted into another room. I'd be on the couch and see a figure standing behind the TV, just watching. But every time I looked directly, there was nothing there. I called my friend Chris. I hadn't told him anything up to this point. Honestly, I was embarrassed. Didn't want him thinking I was losing it. But I had to talk to someone. He agreed to come over. We spent the night gaming, ordering pizza, acting like things were fine. For a while, I forgot about it. Then around midnight, the power went out. Whole apartment, dead silent. Pitch black. We just sat there for a second and I joked like, "Guess you're staying over?" He laughed. Then we both heard it. 3 knocks, not at the door. From inside the apartment. I felt my blood go cold. Chris looked at me like, "What the hell was that?" We sat frozen, listening. Then we heard a soft, dragging sound, like something being pulled across the floor, slow, wet. We grabbed flashlights and followed the sound into the hallway. Nothing. Checked the windows. Nothing. Then we heard it again from the living room. We turned back, and that's when Chris froze. I'll never forget the look on his face, eyes wide, flashlight shaking. He pointed to the wall. And I swear, this is real, I have no reason to lie. We saw a word scratched into the paint. Reflected. I didn't write that. He sure as hell didn't. We got the lights back on eventually. Power came back like nothing had happened. Chris left that morning and hasn't talked to me since. Won't answer texts, won't return calls. It's like I passed something on to him. I thought maybe that would be the end of it. But then, last night, my closet door opened. Not like it was left open. I watched it open, slowly, like someone was inside, gently pulling it back inch by inch. And there it was, my laptop, sitting on the floor of the closet, powered on, glowing. But I never plugged the battery back in, it was just on. The screen displayed a single line of text. "You let it in." That's when I finally broke. I packed a bag, left the apartment, and booked a room at the cheapest motel I could find. No Wi-Fi, no electronics, just 4 walls, flickering lights, and silence, at least until the static came back. It's not on a device this time, it's just in the air, low, constant, buzzing in my ears like a bad frequency that I can't tune out. And every time I hear it, I feel it getting closer. I don't know what I unleashed, but I think whatever was in that video, whatever the government locked away, was never meant to be seen. And now that I've seen it, it sees me too. That motel room was supposed to be my safe zone. No cameras, no tech, no distractions, just me trying to disappear for a while. But silence is its own kind of terror. It started almost immediately after I checked in. I thought maybe it was just the nerves playing tricks, but the quiet wasn't natural. No humming air conditioner, no city noise, nothing. Just silence. It was so complete, it felt like my ears were ringing, like they were trying to fill the void but failing. I stayed up all night, staring at the ceiling, listening. At exactly 2:43 a.m., the same time the video showed that creature twitching, I heard it. A soft tap, tap, tap at the motel room door. I froze, heart pounding. I didn't want to open it. Hell, I didn't even want to look. The tapping stopped for a long time. Then the room temperature dropped, like physically dropped. My breath became visible in front of me, even though the heater was cranked up. I grabbed my jacket and tried to open the door to get out. It was stuck, locked tight. No one was outside. I checked the peephole, empty hallway. When I turned back, the TV turned on by itself. Static. The screen flickered to black and white again, but this time it wasn't the old security footage. It was live, from somewhere else. I saw a dark room, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, same sterile metal table. Only this time, the thing was gone. Instead, there was a man. He was wearing a suit. Clean cut, face blurred like in a witness protection program. He held a file folder and looked directly at the camera. His mouth moved, but no sound came through. Then he pulled out a photo from the folder. It was me, sitting at the motel desk, typing this out. I slammed the TV off. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped the remote. The door knocked again. This time I didn't hesitate. I flung the door open, empty. But taped to the outside was another note. This one wasn't typed. It was scribbled. "You can run, but it's not over." I left the motel the next morning. I'm back in my apartment now, but nothing feels normal. My neighbors don't seem to notice the odd noises, the flickering lights, or the shadows that move just beyond sight. I don't know if anyone would believe me if I told them. Hell, I don't know if I believe myself. But something is here, watching, waiting,
I'm trying to figure out what it wants. And I'm terrified of what I'll find when I do. I've been sitting in my apartment for hours now, staring at this damn laptop. It's like it's taunting me, mocking me, with the way it glows faintly in the dark, even though it's not plugged in. I've been trying to ignore it, but you know how curiosity kills cats, right? Yeah, well, humans too. Last night, I finally caved. I powered it on. No password prompt, no startup screen, just one window open, a chat box. I don't remember installing anything like this. It said, "Do you remember me?" I hesitated. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I was ready to just shut it down again. But instead, I typed, "Who are you?" Almost instantly, the reply came, "I am what you saw." Then the screen flickered. Static filled the window, then cleared. Now the chat was showing images, more photos of me, this time not from a distance, close-ups. My face twisted in sleep, in fear, in confusion, but the last one was different. It was a photo of me, eyes wide open, staring right at the camera, except my eyes were black. The chat box blinked. "You can't escape the reflection." Suddenly, the laptop speakers emitted a low, rasping breath. Not recorded audio, real breath, right there in the room with me. I slammed the laptop shut and unplugged it. But the breathing didn't stop. It filled the room. It got louder. I felt it behind me, cold fingers tracing down my spine. I spun around. Nothing. Then my own reflection caught my eye in the dark window. But it wasn't me. It smiled. Slowly, it reached out from the glass. I ran. I grabbed the laptop, my bag, and fled. I don't know where I'm going, but I know one thing. That file, the one I wasn't supposed to see, it never wanted to be found. And now it's inside me, watching, waiting, because some things don't just hide in servers or files, they hide in you. And once they get in, you're never really alone. I found my doppelganger on the dark web, and he wants to take my place. Alright, so I don't even know where to begin with this. I've been debating whether I should post this at all because I know how it's going to sound, like I'm some paranoid conspiracy nut who watched too many creepypasta videos at 3 a.m, but I swear on everything I'm telling the truth. And if this somehow helps anyone else, or at least gives someone a warning, then fine. I'll take the L and put this out there. Okay, so it started 2 weeks ago. I've always been kind of a tech nerd, not in like the hacker way, but more like I can build a PC from scratch. I know how to torrent without getting caught. And yeah, I've explored parts of the dark web before. Not like the weird human experiment stuff or red rooms. I honestly think half of those are fake. Just marketplaces, forums, encrypted chat rooms, mostly just out of curiosity. But that night was different. I was up late, couldn't sleep, and was browsing this private forum a buddy of mine sent me a link 2 months ago. The kind where the UI looks like it hasn't been updated since 2003. Plain text, black background, cryptic usernames. You needed a Tor key just to get in, and even then, most of the threads were locked behind passwords. I was just scrolling through random stuff when I saw this post titled, "Mirror Mirror 2.0, want to meet yourself?" At first, I thought it was a scam or some AI-generated deepfake garbage, but the thread was long. People commenting things like, "This changed everything, I'm not the same." "He knew my dog's name, how?" "Do not engage, burn everything if you already have." I was instantly intrigued. Stupid, I know. But I clicked the link. It led to a page with a plain download button. No description, no file size, just a big red rectangle that said, "See your true self." Again, stupid, but I downloaded it. It was a .zip file with just one .mp4 video inside. The file name, it was my full name, first, middle, last, exactly as it appears on my driver's license. I hadn't entered anything, I hadn't logged in, nothing. That's when I got that cold, sinking feeling. You know that weird drop in your stomach, like when you almost fall asleep but feel like you're falling? That. Still, I opened the file. And, man, I wish I hadn't. It was a video, maybe 45 seconds long, recorded on what looked like some kind of CCTV cam. The angle was weird, from above, and the lighting was all washed out and yellow, like those old gas station security tapes. The footage showed
Me, sitting at my desk, this desk, wearing the same hoodie I was wearing right then, hunched over my keyboard. Except, I wasn't alone. There was someone behind me in the shot, someone standing completely still in the doorway of my room. His face was shadowed, but the outline was identical to mine. Same building, same height, same way of standing, even the slight tilt of my right foot. That same tiny detail I'd never noticed until that moment. I paused the video, backed it up, frame by frame, and the longer I stared at the guy behind me, the more I realized this wasn't just someone who looked like me, this was me. But here's the freakiest part. When I turned around in real life, like physically turned my head, I was alone. Nobody behind me, door open, empty hallway, but on the video, my doppelganger was still there, watching me. I checked the metadata of the file. It was time-stamped 10 minutes into the future. And exactly 10 minutes later, I swear to God, I heard my front door creak open. Okay, I'm going to pause here for now. I'll post part 2 soon. But if you've ever seen anything like this, or know how this crap works, please let me know. I haven't slept properly since that night. My webcam light turns on by itself sometimes. My reflection in mirrors lags. Not always, just sometimes. And sometimes I hear myself breathing when I'm not. This is far from over. So after the whole video situation, I told myself I was just tired. You know how your brain starts making stuff up when you haven't slept? That's what I was hoping for. I deleted the video, cleared my cache, shut down Tor, everything. Even unplugged my Ethernet cable like that was going to stop some deep web demon or whatever from finding me. But things got weirder. The night after I deleted the video, I woke up at 3:17 a.m., that exact time. I checked my phone because I thought I heard something, like a soft creaking sound, not like a house settling or pipes. It was deliberate, like weight shifting on a wooden floorboard. It was coming from the hallway just outside my room. Now, for context, I live alone. Tiny apartment on the second floor of an older building. Nothing fancy, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, barely any space. My neighbours are chill and the walls are thin, so I usually hear when someone's walking around or arguing or playing music. But this sound was in my apartment. I sat up in bed and just listened. Super still. I don't even think I was breathing. After maybe 30 seconds, I heard it again. 1 step, then another. Slow, heavy footsteps right outside my bedroom door. At that point, my fight or flight kicked in hard. I reached under my bed where I keep this old metal bat, not for baseball, just in case. And I stood up as quietly as I could. I eased my bedroom door open. The hallway was dark, but not pitch black. I always leave the kitchen light on dim, so there was a faint glow. I could see all the way down the hall, and no one was there. But, get this, I noticed my front door was unlocked, like not just the knob, the deadbolt. I always lock that thing, twice. It's a habit. I even have a sticky note above the light switch that says lock the deadbolt in all caps. It was wide open about an inch. I walked toward it, my heart racing. I stepped slowly, holding my breath. The floor felt cold, like unusually cold. When I got to the door, I pushed it shut and locked it tight. Deadbolt, chain, everything. Then I just stood there for a minute, listening to the silence. And then I saw it. On the floor, right by the threshold, was a boot print. Not like a muddy one or anything dramatic, just a faint, dusty outline. A size 11, which is exactly what I wear. Same tread pattern too. I checked my boots in the closet. They were clean. Hadn't worn them in days. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Next morning, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called my buddy Mike. He's the one who originally gave me the invite to that dark web forum. Total digital ghost. He's one of those paranoid types who covers his laptop cam with tape and runs 3 VPNs at once. I figured if anyone could explain what the hell was happening, it was him. We met up at this 24-hour diner, and I told him everything. Showed him the boot print photo I took. Described the video, the footsteps, the unlocked door. I expected him to laugh or call me dramatic, but he didn't.
He just stared at me for a few seconds, then asked one question. "Did he talk to you?" I blinked. "What?" "The version of you in the video. Did he say anything? Did he try to speak?" I told him no. He just stood there, watching. Mike let out a slow breath like he was trying to figure out if he should tell me something. Finally, he said, "They're not AI, not deep fakes. I don't know what they are, but they're not just copies. They learn, they study you, and if you interact with them too long, they'll try to replace you." I laughed a little. I didn't want to, but it just came out. Like a nervous tick. Replace me? Bro, what is this invasion of the body snatchers? But Mike didn't smile. "I'm serious. This happened to a guy I knew. Exact same thing. He got obsessed, started finding pictures of himself in places he'd never been, like printed photos in his mailbox. He said the other version of him was getting more accurate, sounded like him, acted like him. Eventually, no one believed him anymore. His girlfriend, his friends, they all thought he was having a breakdown." I asked what happened to the guy. Mike looked down at his coffee and just said, "He vanished. No one's heard from him since last year." That's when I realized something chilling. The guy Mike was talking about? I'd seen him before, on that forum thread. The one with the comments like, "He knew my dog's name," and "Burn everything if you already have." That was his username. Okay, I need to stop writing for now. My hands are shaking. I just got a text from an unknown number. No name, just a photo. It's me, standing in front of the diner with Mike. But I don't remember anyone taking it. I don't even remember seeing a camera. And my reflection in the diner window? He's smiling. I wasn't. After I got that photo text, I sat in my car outside the diner for maybe 10 minutes straight. Engine off. Phone on the passenger seat. Just staring at the screen. It was a high-res shot. Me and Mike, clear as day, standing by the diner entrance like someone had been just across the street with a zoom lens. Except I was standing weird in the photo. My shoulders were too square. I was looking at Mike, but my head was tilted slightly down like I was watching him rather than talking to him. And my face. There was this subtle smirk, like someone trying to mimic what a smile should look like, but it didn't reach the eyes, almost like how an actor in a mask would smile. It didn't look like me, but I was wearing the same clothes, same hairstyle, even the rip in my hoodie sleeve from that time I caught it on a doorknob. I couldn't take it anymore. I texted the number back, "Who is this?" No reply. Just those 3 dots popping up, and then stopping. Like someone wanted to respond but decided not to. That was somehow worse than getting a creepy answer. I drove home and did something I hadn't done in a long time. I turned off my phone, took the battery out, and shoved it in the freezer. Yeah, I know it sounds dumb, but my brain was all over the place. I remembered Mike saying something about shielding signals and tracking, and the cold kind of slows lithium batteries down. I don't know, I just did it. And I tried to sleep, But at 4:42 a.m., my laptop closed and sitting on my desk across the room, turned on, no startup chime, no fans spinning up, just the screen lighting up, casting this pale white glow in the darkness, like it had been waiting for me. I didn't move at first, just watched from my bed, too freaked out to even breathe. Then the webcam light turned on, that tiny green dot like a snake's eye staring me down. That's when I finally got up. I walked over slowly, heartbeat in my throat, and slammed the laptop shut. The light turned off. The screen went black. And right before it did, I saw something on the desktop. Just for a second, there was a new folder. It hadn't been there before. It was named Home 2. The next day, I went to a local library to use their computer, thinking I could maybe look up something without triggering whatever the hell had latched onto my devices. I opened a private browser, started searching variations of the folder name, the forum thread, and even tried to find the Mirror 2.0 post again. Nothing. It was like that whole thread had been scrubbed, not cached, not archived, just gone. But then I made a dumb move. I logged into an old encrypted email account I'd used on the dark web just to check for anything strange. And there it was. A new message. No subject. No sender. Just one line of text. If you want answers, stop pretending you're the original. I froze. Then I looked at the username in the upper right corner of the inbox. It wasn't mine. It looked like mine, my usual handle, down to the weird capitalization I always used. But there was an extra period at the end, a single dot, barely noticeable. I checked the account settings. The backup email wasn't mine. The profile picture was my face, except it was flipped, a mirror image. I logged out immediately and slammed the monitor off. I've never had paranoia like that before. You know when you leave your house and get the feeling you forgot something? It was like that, but way worse. Like something was following me in the code, hiding in the spaces between usernames and login screens. I thought it couldn't get worse, until I checked my actual home computer when I got back. I couldn't log in, password, changed, security questions, wrong answers, recovery email, sent to the mirror username. It was like I'd been locked out of my own identity. And right when I was about to unplug everything and smash the router, I got another email, this time to my real address. Just one image, a screenshot of my Instagram feed. Except, it was slightly off. The captions were written how I would write them. Sarcastic, short, lowercase. But the photos, none of them were ones I'd taken. They looked similar to mine, like knockoff versions of real events. A birthday party I hadn't had, a trip I never took, but the people in the comments, all the same friends, same usernames, liking and commenting like everything was normal. I even saw one that said, "Had a blast last night, bro, glad you're finally back." I never left town. Last part for today, I opened the freezer later that night to grab the phone and the battery, planning to throw it away, but the phone was on. Screen lit up, glowing inside the freezer like some weird sci-fi horror movie prop. And on the screen was a notification. Face ID recognized. Welcome back. But I never looked at it. I never unlocked it. And I hadn't set up Face ID in the first place. That's when it hit me. Someone, or something, was already using my face, and they were getting better at it. I wish I could say I was joking when I say my own reflection started acting weird. But it's not like one day I looked in the mirror and saw some supernatural monster staring back. No, it was way creepier than that. It was subtle at first, like I'd catch myself in the bathroom mirror doing something normal, brushing my teeth or washing my face, and then pause because my reflection was just a split second late. I'd blink and the reflection would be a fraction behind me, like it was trying to catch up. Then one morning, I swear my reflection blinked before I did. That's when I stopped looking in the mirror as much as possible. But the weirdness wasn't just limited to reflections. My phone calls started acting up. I'd answer and hear my own voice on the other line, but it wasn't me talking. It was like someone was mimicking me, same tone, same cadence, but twisted. The words were all wrong, like scrambled sentences. One night I even got a voicemail. No message. Just heavy breathing. I played it back a dozen times, and I'm positive it wasn't mine. Not even close. Things started slipping in real life too. My friends were acting strange, like they didn't really see me. I tried to explain what was going on to a few close people, but the looks they gave me, confused, like I was talking nonsense. I went to my best friend Sarah, who's known me for years. She looked at me with this cold, distant stare and said, "You've been acting weird lately, are you okay?" Not the Sarah I knew. Later that day, I checked her social media, and she'd posted a photo. It was a selfie of me. But I hadn't seen the photo before. And the caption? It was from the Mirror Me account. It said, "He's just tired. Let me handle this." I'm not going to lie, I started freaking out. I'm the only person who knows what's happening. And whoever, or whatever this doppelganger is, they're slowly stepping into my life. That same night, I locked all the doors and windows, set up a couple of cameras. I even covered the mirrors with towels, anything reflective. And I set an alarm on my phone to wake me every 2 hours, because I had a feeling I wasn't alone in my own body anymore. Around 2 a.m. I woke up to my phone buzzing. I picked it up. It was a text from the Mirror username. Just one line. You're running out of time. I flipped the phone over, heart pounding, and that's when I noticed the background. It was a photo of my bedroom from the inside. Someone had been watching me sleep. That's when I saw it. On the desk, in the photo, my laptop was open, and the screen was showing a live webcam feed of me. I don't know what's worse, knowing that someone is watching you, or knowing that someone is you, and they're trying to take over. I'm writing this now because I don't know what to do next. The lines between me and this thing keep blurring. I've tried everything, changing passwords, moving apartments, even buying burner phones. Nothing works. It's like it's inside my skin, inside my life. And it's only getting stronger. I'm going to try and get some sleep now. Maybe tomorrow I'll figure out a way to fight back. But just so you know, if you ever see a video of yourself on the dark web, if your reflection starts moving just a bit too late, if your phone texts you things you never wrote, you're not alone. And whatever's out there, it wants to take your place. I'll update soon. But honestly, I'm scared I won't be the one typing next time. I wasn't sure if I was going to finish this. Not because I didn't want to, but because I wasn't sure who would be writing it. In the past few days, things went from bad to something else. Something I can barely explain. I kept trying to catch this thing, my doppelganger, on camera. Set up traps, motion sensors, everything. But it was like chasing smoke. No matter how much I prepared, it always seemed to be one step ahead, just out of sight. Then yesterday, it showed up. Or rather, I saw it. I was sitting in my living room, scrolling through my phone, when I caught a movement in the corner of my eye. I turned. There it was. Me, standing by the doorway. Same clothes, same hair, the exact same look. But the eyes, they were different. Cold, empty, like it wasn't human at all. We just stared at each other. I felt my blood run cold. I wanted to scream, run, anything, but my body froze. It smiled, not a friendly smile, more like a predator's. Then it whispered, "I'm already you. It's your turn to disappear." That's when the lights flickered. The TV turned on by itself, static buzzing, and suddenly I was looking at myself, on the screen, but not live. It was footage of me sleeping, for hours, days maybe. But the weird part? The version on screen was different. Slower, robotic, the eyes never closed, the mouth didn't move, just stared. Then the feed cut out, and I heard my own voice, coming from the TV speakers, repeating the same phrase over and over. Let me live. I don't know what happened next. When I woke up, I was outside my apartment, sitting on the curb, phone in hand. My apartment door was wide open behind me. All my cameras were smashed, the ones I set up to protect myself. My laptop, gone. My phone, back in my pocket, working normally. No messages, no text, no new emails, just silence. I don't know if the me that showed up was trying to warn me or replace me, but here's the last thing I found on my phone before the battery died. A new folder, no name. Inside, just one file, a video. It was me, sitting at my desk, typing this story. But the last frame, it showed a figure standing behind me, watching, waiting. I don't know if I'm still here or if that thing is. I don't know if anyone will believe this. But if you ever come across a video of yourself on the dark web, or get a message from a stranger who knows your name, run. Because some reflections don't want to stay in the mirror. They want to step out and take your place. That's it. I'm done. If this is the last you hear from me, be careful. They might already be here.